Good day, everyone. I am Andrea Kleinumagap. I hope you have already finished watching or reading the report of Group 1 about the indigenous communities in Luzon. Because now we will proceed to discussing the indigenous communities that are found in Visayas. Of course, we will first discuss about the introduction. What is the indigenous communities of Visayas all about? And the following tribes will be tackling about. First is the Aklanon, Ati, Bantuanon, Boholanon, Kaluyanon, Kapisnon, Cebuano, Iskaya, Hiligaynon, Kinaraya, Magahat, Purohanon, Sama-Abaknon, Sulod, and Waray. As you can see in the picture, we can see that the clothes of these indigenous communities are very vibrant. They are uniquely distinct from one another, as well as their faces, their complexion, their language, their headdresses, and their cultures and traditions. The cultures of Visayas groups or Visayas indigenous groups have been influenced by colonizers, either by Spanish influencers and other Asian influencers. Well, as we all know, the Spaniards left us their religion. And up until at present, we are still believing in the religious beliefs that they have left us. And Visayas region is very rich, very prominent in multiple indigenous groups that we will be discussing up next. So first is the Aklanon tribe. The Aklanon tribe are a group of indigenous people that are found in Panay. Well, aside from setting in just one province or one city or one place, they are scattered into different areas. They can be seen in Iloilo, Antique, and even Capiz, as well as in Romblon, actually. Like the other Visayans, Aklanon have found their ways to other places like Metro Manila. And the reason behind them migrating from one place to another is mostly or mainly because of job opportunities. They want to have a better life. That is why they tend to move from one place to another because they see that that particular place has a lot to offer than the current place they are settling in. Aklanon is a Spanish word for the people of Aklan. So, as simple as that. The cultures of Aklanon, they are known as the producers of piña fibers, a delicate sheer cloth typically used in making barong Tagalog. They are seen as the main producers in the Philippines of fine quality piña fibers, as well as from piña fibers, they are able to make barong and Filipiniana dresses. They are also known for their devotion to the Santo Niño or the Child Christ, which is probably the result of the Spanish colonizers bringing us their religious beliefs. The early Aklanon believed in many gods, which is the Bulu Lakaw, who lived in the mountain called Madyaas. Madyaas is a mountain found in Antique. And also, aside from Bulu Lakaw, they also believed in a chief goddess called Laon, in which Mount Canlaon's name came from. The following are the priests known in Aklan, and these priests are not merely from myths and legends. They are real-life priests that have played a prominent role or a major role in Aklan during the pre-colonial period. So these are Bagut Banwa, or who played for Good Harvest, Magindalon, who played for the sick people or person, Suliran, who performed the marriage ceremony, Manunubo was the good spirit of the sea. So these four priests are the priests in which Aklanons pray, whatever they wish for. Aklanons just like other indigenous groups, also have their own beliefs and practices. So they believe in the Babaylan. Well, we can see that Babaylan is also present in other indigenous groups, but here in Aklan or Aklanons, Babaylans are seen as advisors of their datu, as well as they are seen as medical practitioners, but not exactly educationally knowledgeable about medicine. They are seen as healers in the area. They also conduct a significant religious ceremony and was held in every 7 years. So in here, they offer something or anything to their divine, to whoever that person or that thing is that they consider sacred. So whenever they offer something, they do it every 7 years, in which they pray or they manifest something that they want to happen. The language of Aklanon is Aklanon, which is a Visayan variety. So as well as we all know, every language in Visayas is Visayan. It's just that there are different varieties, just like in Antique. Karaya is also a Visayan variety. So here in Aklan, Aklanon speak the Aklanon variety of Visaya. Our next tribe to be discussed is the Ati tribe. The Ati tribe are a Negrito ethnic groups in Visayas, the central portion of the Philippine archipelago. They are seen as the central portion because they are one of the most earliest indigenous groups here in the Philippines. They are categorized as Negritos by the Spanish colonizers mainly because of how they look. Their complexion, their hair, their height, everything that symbolizes or that is similar to the African people or the Negrito from Africa. So these Spanish colonizers also labeled these people as Negros or Negritos. The location of Ates is that they lived on the Panay Island, similar with Aklanon. It's just that Aklanons lived in Aklan. And these Ates are located in the islands of Cebu, Bohol, Siquijor, Leyte, Samar, Masbate, and Guimaras. They are separate because, of course, if one family migrate, they would start their own clan in that particular area. That is why their groups, indigenous groups, are scattered from different areas of the Philippines, or from Visayas rather. As you can see in the picture, this is the characteristic of an Ati people that is visible in the naked eye. Their hair, their color, their lips, their nose. They are described as dark-skinned people, small in frame, standing between 4 to 5 feet tall, with flat nose, curly, kinky textured hair. Their religion is, at first they practice animism, in which they would worship spirits from inanimate objects like plants and animals. And some or one of the spirits that they worship is the Taglugar or Tagapuyo, which means inhabiting a place, in which they believe that in that particular inanimate object lives a spirit. Like for instance, in a tree, they believe that a spirit inhabits that particular tree or inhabits that particular animal. Well, currently, there are already baptized atheists that are already converted to Christianity. It's just that there are still some atheists who believe in those inanimated objects or those spirits in which they decline or they reject to be converted into Christianity, just like other atheists. So they remain in worshiping those spirits. They believe in magwala or magdili. And another spirit that they worship or they believed in is the Abu, the chief herdsman of wild pigs and deer. The medicine practices of Ates are considered as in the expert level. I have researched about it on Google, and there is an article which claimed that the medical practices of Ates are considered to be on the expert level because they are proven to be effective. These medical practitioners of Ates doesn't just heal Ate community, but also locals from other ethnic groups or other people that are maybe not indigenous people go to them if they want to be healed. Well, from that, it doesn't mean that healing is their way of living. Well, they can just use that skill of theirs in which they would heal people and they will gain profit from it. That is an easy part that they could choose. However, they choose to live in simple lives. They choose to hunt for food and to fish in order to eat whatever that is available in the surrounding resources that they can gather. Men usually Men usually are in charge of hunting while women are in charge of fishing because hunting is considered as dangerous for vulnerable individuals because they would venture through forests and other areas that are considered to be dangerous. Women clothing are just wrap around skirt which are made of bark cloth, which is a kind of tree. A clothing that is made of a tree. That is what, based on what I have researched. And of course, as we all know, ancient indigenous groups or the earliest indigenous groups just prioritize covering their lower body parts. But their upper body part, especially their breasts, are visible. It is uncovered or not covered at all. But at present, of course, they see the importance of dignity and the importance of covering also the sacred body of women. So now they have more well, some of ates are already wearing modern clothes, as we can observe. But before, they just wear skirts. That is their priority. And for men only wear loincloths or what we call as bahag. So they would just cover their private area. And it is normal for them, but is odd, is weird, and is awkward for us normal people, which are not part of any indigenous groups. And for their jewelry, they do not wear shiny diamonds or golds or silver jewelries. What they wear are flowers, plants, or probably bones. The fangs of animals that they have hunted, they would use it to create necklaces. Well, from movies, we can observe that indigenous groups would even use those bones to place it on their faces like a piercing, diba? We can see that bones are used as earrings or as piercings on the noses and even on the lips. But here, ates only, or most of the time, just use those bones for necklaces. Those are their most common jewelries that they wear. The traditional houses, language, courtship, and marriage of ate. Ate settlement usually near a good water supply. Houses are windscreen type and material sourced from the ports. They usually live where water is abundant, where plants are abundant. And the reason why their houses are built as simply as possible, made of bamboo floors, bamboo walls, and pugon or pawid roofs is that they are always ready for moving from one place to another. They cannot just settle on one area because if they will, the resources will eventually, what do you call this? Eventually, the resources would eventually be gone. And they move from one place to another. In places, they choose to settle because the resources there are abundant. There is clean water and there are plants, there are trees for them to benefit from. How the Aktas of the North speak Sambalic language. Well, Aktas, Aitas, I'm not sure if this Akta is actually a Negrito group or just a typographical error. But Ates, Aitas, and Agtas are different varieties of Negritos. And Ates speak the, what language? They speak the Inati language, which is probably different from the language of other Negrito varieties. Ates have a large extent been influenced by marriage customs of the Christian Filipinos as indicated by the Spanish terms which they currently use. The act of courting is called pangaluyag. Here in pangaluyag, this is a type or a kind of courting that are practiced by the Ates in which at the age of 14, they are already able to get married as long as both parties agreed, especially the family. Both family sides agrees. Okay, so I guess that's it for my part, and thank you for listening. I hope you listen as well to the other reporters in my groups. Thank you.
For the continuation of our report, we have the next Visayas indigenous people, which is the Bontoanon tribe. So the name Bontoanon came from the island of Banton in Romblon, where they live. They are especially found in Romblon in the municipality of Ondingan, Corquera, Calatrava, and Concepcion in Romblon. So the main religion of Bantoanon people is Roman Catholic, and the language that they spoke is their local dialect called the Asi or the Bantoanon language. So their culture and tradition also similar to the other Visayas indigenous people, whereas they have few similarities but also differ on many sides. So for example, they have these burial practices. So they practice secondary burial and establish burial cave in the Kuyungan in Romblon, and they use burial cloth to wrap the dead of their people. So that's their burial practices. Another one of their tradition are the pailig, which means pailig means patiently getting the container filled with water from a not so abundant source. So to hone their patient values, they have to wait the water to fill this container from a not so abundant source or hindi ganun karaming tubig. So, moving on to the next tribe, we have the Boholano tribe. So, Boholano people who live in the islands province of Bohol, which is also part of the Visayas ethno-linguistic group. So, according to some research, they are the descendants of the last inhabitants of the Philippines, which is the Pintados or the Tattooed ones. So, Boholano, they are mainly found in Bohol, but they also reside in Southern Leyte or in Mindanao. So, the main characteristic or the distinct characteristic of Boholano are they are thrifty, they are law-abiding, they are hospitable, religious, and many more. They are also expert seafarers and traders. So, in terms of their language or languages, the variant Cebuano language is what they usually use. And in terms of their religion, same as true to other Visayas group of indigenous people where their religion is Catholic, but there are some that also have or profess Protestant faiths or Islam. So one of the distinct culture of Boholanos is that they are a fun-loving and generous kind of people, and they have a deep religious beliefs into the Roman Catholic na kasi they are their religion are the Roman Catholic. That's why they have these several festival honoring a saint, like for example the Saulog Festival. The livelihood of the Boholano people are farming, and one of their delicacies of Bohol is what we call the kalamay, which is a sweet viscous dessert found only in Bohol. We have another tribe of Visayas, which is the Caloyanon tribe. So they are found in the Caloya Islands of Antique, and they are described as the smallest ethnic group of Visayas. So the main languages that is spoke in Caloya Islands is a dialect of Karaya language and Hiligaynon as their second language. So for tribe. Next, we have the Capisnon tribe. So, Capisnon derived from the word capis, which means seashells that they use to make square panes for windows, and then a suffix non for people. So, they are concentrated or mainly found in the province of Capiz, and the Panay Islands of Visayas. So, in terms of their language, they belong to the Bisanian, and the Capisnon language is their subclassification of Bisanian language. So, they mainly spoke Bisanian language, and this Capisnon language is a classification nitong Bisanian, and they are closely related to the Hiligaynon language, which is what we know as Ilonggo. So their dialect, so in terms of their dialect, they have big differences also to the other, because they have this addition of letter T to the suffix of either Hiligaynon, Karaya, or Aklanon pronoun. That's their dialect. In terms of their beliefs and practices naman, they believe in a creature called Bulo Lakaw, which is the same as a peacock bird that could cause them illnesses and they believe that it is live in the sacred mountain, which they call as Madyasas. So they also believe in Encanto, which is naninirahan din sa maraming places doon sa Visayas, and they could either prey on people or play tricks on traditional houses of traditional houses of Capisnon are made of bamboo and nipa or kugon, and it is usually square with 2 or 1 rooms inside, and the roof is either a palay or a pyramid shape, or binalay, which is a hip. Another one we have is the Cebuano tribe. So Cebuano is the second largest ethno-linguistic group in the country. and they mainly reside in the Cebu. So the main religious belief of Cebuano is, of course, Roman Catholic as well as same as to the other tribes. But in rural areas, they synchronize Catholicism with indigenous Visayas folk religion. So their languages of Cebuano is closely related to Hiligaynon, which is Ilonggo, and Waray-Waray. So their distinct tradition also have the few similarities to others. For example, their tradition in terms of birth is that when a newborn baby is born into a Cebuano family, they usually put pomelo leaves under the house of the family so that the wandering evil spirit could drive away. So, para mawala yung mga masamang espiritu doon sa bahay. And then, kapag death naman, pinapaniwalaan nila that you should not sweep or magwalis kapag merong patay sa family member kasi it could actually cause or might cause another death to the family member. So that would be all with the Cebuano tribe.
Good day, everyone. I am Isel Jane R. Domingo from BSED English 2nd year, and I was assigned to discuss 3 of the Philippine indigenous group of Visayas. The first one is the Ixaya tribe. The Ixaya tribe is a group of indigenous people living in specific towns on the island of Bohol, which is located in the southern Philippines. They have their own special culture, language, and traditions that make them unique. We all know that literature is very important for every indigenous group because it helps keep their stories, traditions, and cultures alive. Through books, poems, and oral stories, they share their history and values with others and teach younger generations about their identity. The literature of the Ixaya tribe has a rich history. It was first recorded by a man named Mariano Datahan. He spoke words that were written down by scribes, who were people tasked with writing things down. These writings include stories about local history and folklore, which are traditional tales passed down through generations. This literature reflects the beliefs, values, and experiences of the Ixaya people, showcasing their unique identity and heritage. Language also plays a vital role in every indigenous group, just like in Ixaya tribe, where they have a unique language that is primarily based on Boholano, which is the native language spoken in Bohol, an island in the Philippines. However, the Ixaya language has its own special words and vocabulary that are different from standard Boholano. According to Eberhard et al., Ixayan is considered dormant, which is a language that only serves as a reminder of a heritage identity for an ethnic community, but no one has more than symbolic proficiency. It is used mostly in religious and political events. What they wear also reflect the indigenous group's identity, culture, and tradition. The Ixaya tribe, an indigenous group from Bohol in the Philippines, has a unique clothing style. For men's clothing, they wear shirts made from a fabric called piña rafa. This fabric is special because it is made from pineapple fibers, which makes it lightweight and breathable. The shirts have a color that resembles those worn in Chinese fashion, giving them a distinctive look. They also wear black breeches to complete their outfit. Men wear cotton berets. These hats are comfortable and suitable for the warm climate.
For women, they wear piña dresses with bulging sleeves that are reminiscent of Spanish-influenced styles found in Boholano culture. This design showcases their heritage and connection to historical influences. Women cover their hair with cotton habits, which can signify modesty and adherence to cultural norms within the tribe. The question is, why wear this kind of clothing, or what is the purpose of this kind of clothing? The unique designs and materials used in their clothing help express their cultural identity and distinguish them from other groups. The choice of lightweight fabrics like piña rafa is practical for adapting to the warm climate, ensuring comfort throughout daily activities. Certain elements of their attire may indicate social status or roles within the community, reinforcing social structures. Next, tradition and belief. Women were not permitted to cut their hair nor wear trousers, and drinking and dancing were universally prohibited because these traditions are often assigned to different roles to men and women. Women may be expected to dress in a way that reflects modesty or submission, which can include long hair and dresses rather than trousers. They also prohibit drinking and dancing because some communities believe that avoiding drinking and dancing helps preserve their core values and traditions, ensuring that future generations adhere to the same principles. Another indigenous group is the Hiligaynon tribe. The Hiligaynon people, often referred to as Ilonggos, are a subgroup of the Visayan people whose primary language is the Hiligaynon language, an Austronesian language native to the large eastern coastal plain of Panay, northern Guimaras, and western Negros. Over the years, intermigrations and intramigrations have contributed to the diaspora of the Hiligaynon to different parts of the Philippines. Hiligaynon, often referred to as Ilonggo, as I said earlier, it is an Austronesian language spoken in the Western Visayas region or the Philippines. Hiligaynon pronunciation is Hiligaynon. Alternate name is Ilonggo, and the location is Philippines or in specifically in Western Visayas. Livelihood refers to the way people earn money or support themselves and their families. It includes all the activities that help them get what they need to live. In many rural areas, like those where most Hiligaynon people live, livelihoods are often based on natural resources. This means that the work people do is closely related to what they can grow or catch from the land and water. That's why their activity are farming and fishing. Next is their education. As stated here, almost all Hiligaynon are literate, can read, and write. Most children attend elementary school, which is free for 6 years. High school provides 4 more years of education. Only about 70% go on to high school because not all families can afford to pay the required fees. The eating pattern is either 3 meals a day or 2 meals at 10 to 11 a.m. and 4 to 5 p.m. Between meal snacks consist of rice cakes, boiled roots, or bananas. So family members eat all their own convenience but are encouraged to eat together. Hiligaynon clothing varies by occasion and gender. For fieldwork, men typically wear worn-out shorts, while on formal occasions they dress in long pants and shirts, often going shirtless. Married women usually wear a vestida or a dress, or a patajong, or sometimes called tube skirt, with a blouse. Some women also wear these garments for magical protection. Older men often have tattoos, which can include symbols like crucifix or initials. Hiligaynon culture is rich and vibrant, particularly in the cities of Iloilo and Bacolod. People in Iloilo and Bacolod enjoy spending time with friends and family. They often gather for long periods, sharing stories and laughter. This social aspect is very important to them. Good food plays a central role in their gatherings. The dishes they prepare are often influenced by Spanish cuisine, reflecting the historical ties between the Philippines and Spain. Meals are not just about eating, they are an opportunity to bond with loved ones. In Hiligaynon culture, taking a nap in the afternoon, known as siesta, is common. This practice allows people to rest and recharge before continuing their day. Hiligaynon people also have their prayerful nature. Religion plays a significant role in their daily lives, guiding their values and actions. Family is at the heart of Hiligaynon culture. People prioritize family relationships and often engage in activities that strengthen these bonds. Hiligaynon is a language primarily spoken in the Philippines, particularly in the Iloilo province located on Panay Island. It is part of the Western Visayas region. It has approximately 9.1 million speakers and is part of the Visayan language family. Hiligaynon plays a significant role in the cultural identity of its speakers and is known for its melodic intonation and rich vocabulary. Now let's proceed to their belief. Hiligaynon tribe believes that they share the general Filipino behavioral values such as hiya, and violating norms will earn gaba or supernatural punishment, and those who humiliate others will suffer the same amount of humiliation in turn, a principle called uling. In the Hiligaynon culture, it represents the value of being aware of how one's actions affect others. People are expected to behave in a way that respects themselves and those around them. If someone acts inappropriately or disrespectfully, they may feel yeah before they know they have violated social norms. Gaba refers to the idea of supernatural punishment for violating cultural norms. In this context, if someone insults or disrespects others, they may face consequences not just from society, but also from supernatural forces. Uling is a principle that states that if someone humiliates another person, they will experience the same level of humiliation in return. This concept emphasizes fairness and reciprocity in social interactions. The next one is their sport. Tumbang Patis is a popular game among children in the Hiligaynon culture, enjoyed by both boys and girls. It is a fun outdoor game where kids throw rocks at a tin can while one player keeps watch. Children also enjoy gun fighting, where they use bamboo pop guns. Beetle and spider fighting are also popular to the children, where they engage in competitions involving beetles and spiders. Crafts and hobbies. Weaving is the process of making items by interlacing threads or strips of material together. This can be done with different types of fibers, such as plant materials or fabric. The Hiligaynon people are known for their skill in weaving. They create various items like baskets, mats, and textiles. The San Jose or San Jose is the province of Antique located in the western Visayas region. It is a home to the Kinaraya or Karaya people. The Karaya language, also known as Kinaraya, is a member of the Visayan branch of the Philippine language family and is primarily spoken in the province of Antique in the western Visayas region. It is a language that holds cultural significance within the Philippines and plays a vital role in preserving indigenous traditions and oral history. Most Antiqueos adopted Hiligaynon until the late Evilio Javier became governor of the province and revived the Kinaraya language. Lastly is their culture. The Kinaraya people are involved in farming. They grow crops that are important for their daily needs and local economy. The Kinaraya culture has a strong musical tradition that includes different types of songs. They have courtship songs, or the songs sung during the process of wooing or courting someone. Next is wedding hymns, song performed during wedding ceremonies to celebrate love and union. Next is funeral recitals, or the music played during funerals to honor the deceased and provide comfort to the grieving. Kinaraya people engage in farming and create various handmade products unique to their towns, while also having a vibrant musical and dance culture that plays a significant role in their community life. That is all for my presentation. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I am Judith Galia from BS Ed Science 2, and now let us proceed to the Magahat tribe, which is also known as Antayman or Boogeyman. So they are technically Magahats, which belong to the defined group of people na located sa Negros Island of Visayas. So they are found in southwestern Visayas in Santa Catalina, Bayawan, Siaton. So, according to Dr. Timotea S. Oracion research, so his findings na yung mga Magahat people, they are separate, distinct, and with established social boundaries different from its neighbors the Bukidnon. So, ang mga Magahat tribes, sila ay parang isolated sa kanilang lugar. So, yung language nila, ito yung mixture ng Hiligaynon and Sugbo-Hanon. So, ang livelihood po nila ay yung livelihood ng Magahats or pinagkukunan nila ng hanap buhay or ng income is yung agriculture and animal hunting. So, nag-harvest sila ng mga crops such as mountain rice, maize, and maniok, and sweet potato. So, yun po yung pinagkakakitaan or hanap buhay ng mga Magahats. Next po, yung kanilang belief, culture, and traditional practices. So, yung mga Magahats live in the mountain of Basay near rivers and streams with houses made from forest materials. So, naniniwala sila sa mga spirits that, however, is not feared by Magahats. So, hindi nila kinakatakutan yung pagkamatay because they know that it is just a journey from earth to the other side. So, tayo, di ba naniniwala tayo na may buhay sa kabilang buhay. So, naniniwala din sila doon. So, tattooing, yan, nagtatattoo din yung mga Magahats. Then, next po, let us proceed to Puruhanon tribe. So, yung Puruhanon of Philippines, numbering 43,500, are engaged yet unreached. They are part of the Filipino tribal people cluster within the Malay people affinity block. So, this people group is only found in the Philippines and located in the Poro Island of Cebu. They are a minor group, Visayan ethnic group. So, yung religion nila, majority po dito is Roman Catholicism or Roman Catholic. Then, yung language po nila, their primary language is Puruhonan and Cebuano as their second language. Then po, sa Puruhonan, distinguished from the means by which the local substitute O sounds with W. So, for example, sa Cebuano, maayong buntag or good morning vocalized as maazong buntag. In Puruhanon naman, yun, maazong buntag. Then, others variation contains the Puruhanon, ara dira, instead of the regular Cebuano, ana a diha. So, yun po, sobrang iba, magkaiba yung Cebuano and Puruhanon sa pagdating sa kanilang language. So, next po is yung raw materials of Puruhanon. So, Poro is a non-industrial but basically a fishing and agricultural town. So, yung various types of raw materials na meron sila is vegetable, corn, root crops, nipa leaves, and livestock and poultry products. So, yun po yung kanilang raw materials na matatagpuan sa mga taga-Puruhanon. So, pang 13 po is Sama-Abaknon tribe. Sama-Abaknon tribe. So, yung Sama-Abaknon or Kapol Samal, Kapoleno, nakatira sila sa island of Kapol on the northern tip of Samar in the San Bernardino Straits, south of the province of Sorsogon. Then, although set across central Philippines, from the Sulu and Tawi-Tawi archipelagos, where the Sama group live. So, ano ba yung language nila? So, yung primary language nila is Inabaknon. So, the Inabaknon speak a language that is related to the Sama and the non to the languages of the peoples about them, like the Bicol. So, yun po ang kanilang language. Yung religion naman is primary practiced by Abaknon Sama is Roman Catholicism then. So, the largest branch of the Christian church and one of the oldest religious institute in the world. So, they are mostly Catholics po. Then, livelihood nila is sa marine or sa karagatan with the basic industry focused on fishing with set-rise farming towards the interior. So, dahil malapit po sila sa dagat, ay fishing po yung kanilang pangunahing hanap buhay. So, meron po silang festival, which is natawag na Abaknon Festival, or as part of the celebrations for the feast of our patron saint, Saint Ignatius of Loyola. So, Abaknon is the name that collectively embraces all the residents of the island of Kapul. So, yun po, mayroon silang festival which is Abaknon Festival na sineselebrate dahil kay patron or sa Saint Ignatius of Loyola. Then, number 14, Suludnon tribe. So, yung Suludnon tribe referred to as a Tumandok, Panay Bukidnon, or Panayanon Sulud. The Philippine ethnologistically group inhabiting the slopes of the mountains along the banks of the Panay River between Mount Saya and Mount Baloy in central Panay Island. They are found in Tapas in Capiz. So, Lambuano in Iloilo and Valderrama in Antique. Suludnon tribe. So, yung location nila, so the Sulud acquired their name because of the sandwich-like location of their territory. The term Sulud meaning entery or closed place. They are also called Monyeses by lowlanders, meaning literally mountain dwellers. So, religion po nila is Christianity or Roman Catholic din po. Then, language, Sudlanon, Hiligaynon, Kinaray-a, Aklanon, Filipino, and English. So, iba-iba po or may iba-ibang language po ang meron sa Suludnon tribe. So, traditional practices, meron po yung kung saan rarely stays in one place for more than 2 years while they are in particular site. They grow upland rice and other crops for their daily needs. A puro is normally located on top of a high ridge with houses typically constructed as 4-walled, one-room dwelling about 3 meters in height and supported with bamboo or timber posts. They ate usually located beside a river so that inhabitants can have easy access to water and riverine food. So, nanirahan po sila malapit sa mga rivers para malapit lang din po yung kanilang pagkukunan ng water, may access sila sa water, and yung mga pagkain sa ilog. So, yun, malapit lang po sila sa ilog na nanirahan. So, traditions of Sulud, binukot. The binukot are selected among the beautiful young women of the tribe and are hidden away in enclosed room, away from the eyes of the man. So, the binukot are equivalent to princesses. So, meron po silang princess, which is tinatawag nila binukot. And so, this woman are treated with the care and attention. So, pinapahalagahan po nila yung mga kababaihan dito sa tribo na ito. So, hindi sila pwedeng makita or away from the eyes of the man. So, hidden or nakatago sila sa isang closed room. Ganun po yung pagpapahalaga nila sa kanilang binukot or princess. Then, the baylan communicates during their religious rites or mga babaylan, especially during their 16 major annual ceremonies, which are specifically to celebrate their principal spirit, Diwata. So, on important occasions, women wore headdresses and clothes lined with silver coins as well as beaded necklaces. By contrast, men sport ordinary buri hats and headwear, with elders opting for G-strings. They then perform their binanog dance. So, meron po silang dance which is binanog. So, yun po, yung mga kababaihan ay nagsasayaw to celebrate the mga annual ceremonies nila. So, isa pa sa tradition nila is balasan or wake of the dead. So, this when a loved one has died, so everyone in the community chips in with material thing to condole with the bereaved family. So, nag-aalay sila or nagbibigay sila ng mga gusto nilang ibigay sa mga naiwan ng na pamilya. So, a baylan or parangkuton is now buried in their ground unlike an ordinary sulod. Instead, a special coffin is made for them, which is then placed in a solitary hill. Then, after 2 or 3 months, the bones are removed, washed, and wrapped in a black cloth to be suspended under the eaves of the house. So, kapag nalibing na po after 3 months, ay kapag buto-buto na lang daw yung natira sa kanilang yun sa nalibing ay hinuhukay nila ulit or kinukuha nila and nililinisan or hinuhugasan. Then, inirarap siya sa black cloth and suspended under the eaves of the house. Excuse me po. So, the word waray means none or nothing or not in Samar. The waray are also known as Samarinos. So, their native language is called Waray-Waray. It is a 5th most spoken native language in the Philippines with more than 3 million native. So, pang-15 po natin is Waray tribe. So, ang familiar naman tayo sa Waray tribe, di ba po? So, it is a 5th most spoken native language in the Philippines, yung Waray-Waray, dahil sa Philippines po ay merong 3 million natives na Waray. So, yung location po nila, so nag-originate sila from the Eastern Visayas region of the Philippines or the modern-day provinces of Leyte, Samar, and Biliran. So, the Waray people speak the Waray as a major Visayan language. Many also speak Cebuano as their second language. So, yung culture ng Waray, the Waray are often stereotyped as brave warriors, as popular in the tagline, basta ang Waray hindi uurong sa away. So, yun po yung pagkakakilanlan sa kanila. So, parang matapang. So, farming and fishing is the main livelihood ng mga Waray. So, they are very well known to have the ability to face danger, difficulty, uncertainty, or pain without being overcome by fear or being deflected from a chosen course of action. So, kilala ang mga Waray sa pagiging matapang. So, yung tradition naman is Kutsara is a very popular traditional dance of the Waray at the social gathering, especially weddings. It is very common throughout Samar, where the couple who dances the Kuratsa is showered with money by the people around them. So, sa kasal nila is meron mga nagbibigay ng pera or nagsha-shower ng pera sa kanila or nagsasabit. So, nakikita natin may nagsasabit ng mga money sa kanila. So, belief and practices of Waray. So, the tribal Waray believe in many deities or diwata. They were almost 50 gods or goddesses. So, merong 50 gods and goddesses na pinapaliwalaan sa Waray mythologies for everything rainbows, giddiness, time, flying creatures, and poison to different worlds. There were also many rituals since they believe there are spirits and everything around. So, naniniwala sila sa mga diwata. So, tradition clothing ng Waray. So, meron silang palda na yan yung sa mga makikita natin na palda sila or what do you call this one? Malong, mga ganun. So, meron silang ganyan. So, yan yung traditional clothing of Waray. So, yun lang po and it ends our report. So, thank you so much for watching and I hope na may natutunan po tayo sa report na ito. So, yun lang and thank you.